me, and we're going to break these into different divisions, and you'll see them down there where it says, what about points of view? This is the paper on the table. We're going to have historical, from some of our older members. What we want you to do is pick the division where you see yourself in the industry. We're going to have by location from the different states. Your point of view, we're counting on you to be truthful and tell your story the way you see it. We're going to have women in the industry, second generation, aircraft fasteners, metrics, and then we put the all-inclusive ones on the bottom. We need to have everybody's story because our industry is changing so quickly. We need to have this down for the younger members. We need to have it for the older members. We're going to put in old price lists, if you have old price lists, anything that you think would be interesting. It's going to be very much like a big scrapbook. We're going to make it loose leaf, we'll have divisions, and we want each and every person in this room to sit down and record for us what your point of view is in your place in the fastener industry. And believe me, folks, if you don't come to us with it, we're going to come to you with a baseball bat. We want everyone here to participate in this. Not only for the fun sake of reviewing where we are, but it will be a good tool for membership, trying to enlist people in our membership. We have some very interesting people in this industry and interesting stories. Classic example is Mel and all his good stuff that he has here. We want to get to all, you don't have to be a member of WAFTA. If you know somebody that's made a contribution in the fastener field, we want to hear from you. We want you to talk to these people so we can have an all-inclusive picture of where we've been since World War II. Now, I know a lot of you weren't around at the end of World War II, but plain fact of the matter is we all have shared in this history. We've all made history, and we want to record it now. Write it down. I don't care. Put it in a tape recorder. Send us the tape. Get on the phone. Give it to me. Fax it. I don't care how you get it to me, but I want you to make sure that your story gets told from your point of view. I will let you select however you feel, wherever you feel like your niche is in those different groups. We want to create a picture of the people in the industry, not just the facts. And it's the people we're interested in that we want to hear about and that we want to record their point of view, your point of view, in this undertaking. And if everybody will get busy and do it, we can have it by the fall meeting. But now, I want you to take this and keep it with you, because on the very end, there are suggestions on how to get started with it. On the back it says some suggestions. When did you start with fasteners? How, where else, what events were happening, traditions, culture, anecdotes, people important to you, times of change, times of crisis, changes in the way you do business, specific circumstances, observations, ideas, goals, progress in the industry, changes in all kinds of areas. Applicable lessons, we're always interested in that, not that any of us takes to heart. Speculations on the future. We have members that are new to business. We want to hear what their point of view is at this point in their business. Do any of you have any questions or any suggestions? I'm open to suggestions on anything that you have that might make this something interesting for us to know where we've been in the past. Anybody got any good ideas? We talked about tape recorders at these meetings and kind of getting people talking in a dialogue about stories and things like that. We haven't done that. Hopefully, if we have it done by the fall, we may not be able to do that. I would tell you that it's not, 100 words or less. Just write it down however you feel it coming. And we will reserve the right, if we have a space problem, maybe to excerpt or to cut back. But we're going to try to put everybody's story intact in the point of view book. I hesitate to call it a scrapbook because I want it to be a little bit more than that, but truly a person history of what has gone down. Anyway, keep this with you, because if you don't get that in, we'll just be calling you. And now we're going to get to this is so good. We got Mel Kirsner here, and he's going to give us I Remember, and this is going to get us started down this trail, okay? Let's have a hand for Mel.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for letting me speak to you this morning. I'm not much of a public speaker, and I haven't spoken in a good number of years, but I'll try to do my best. As an honorary charter member of this organization, I know most of you, but for these new members that are here and their guests, I am Mel Kirsner, more commonly known as Pal Mel. About 6 months ago, one of your members here, Scott Cross, called me and asked me to speak at this meeting. I asked him, well, what subject did he want me to speak about? And he said, well, speak about yourself. I said, what, me? And he said, yes, Mel. He said, you're one of the true characters and one of the real crazy people in the fastener business. So, here I go. In 1954, after attending UCLA and San Diego State College, I went to work for a company in San Diego by the name of General Dynamics. I received my degree in industrial engineering and went to work as an industrial engineer, thank you, Vicky, at Condor. I worked there for 4 years until they tried to transfer me to a missile base in Cheyenne, Wyoming. With that, I decided it's time that I stay in San Diego because I don't like the cold. I then went to work for a company in San Diego by the name of Reliable Pipe and Supply. They were a steel jobber, one of the larger ones in San Diego, and also sold bolts and nuts to the pipeline industry. My father and grandfather owned the company, so I had an in there. And I worked there, and during that time I had the fortunate privilege to meet Bud Porteous, who was a salesman at that time for Russell Bowe. And also, we represented Bethlehem Steel because we were a steel jobber, and stainless and fastener and stainless and bronze bolts came from a company called Pacific Coast Agencies that was in Los Angeles, and he represented a company by the name of Barry Gapstrip, who made stainless at that time. We were a domestic-only house, and I worked there for a few years, and they wouldn't give me a raise. And my grandfather kept saying to me, well, now someday you'll own the company. Well, I left. But I have two things that I remember that my grandfather told me. He said, if you did business with people you like, you starve to death. And the other thing he said, blood is thicker than water, and 2% is thicker than both of them. I carried that with me. Carried that with me into my businesses. Many of you know who supplied me, and I felt that during my 30-plus years in the fastener business that I ran a pretty tight ship. I felt I made all my money buying, not selling. I should have known that I would never been able to work for my grandfather, because when I got married, he gave my ex-wife and myself $50. And my granddad was a multi-millionaire, one of the very rich men in San Diego. He started out with a livery stable and hauled steel from Los Angeles to San Diego and then into the Imperial Valley with horse and buggy. And he had his team of horses, and my whole family's kind of like pioneers there. When I left Reliable, I went looking for a job. No one would hire me. Everyone was afraid that I'd work a few months or a year or something and return back to Reliable. But I was fortunate enough to have a company give me a job. I was starving, kind of, and I got a job with Gould Hardware and Machinery.